Hello everyone, I hope you all are fine and in good health. Now, this is your third session of the SST class. In SST in class 6, you will be having three different books. One is geography, one history and one civics. We have already covered two chapters from geography. Our Past, the name of the book was Our Past. And today I wanted to give you a brief summary of civics. So the name of the civics book is Social and Political Life. Here in this session I have also given you the photos of the different pages of the book so that it helps you in understanding and going through the chapter properly. Alright. Now, before going into the session in detail, I would like to ask you a few questions, or let's get interactive. Now first tell me children, how many fingers do we have? Yeah, of course, 5. And do you think that all are same? Of course not. They are not same, isn't it? And how many friends do you have in your class? Around 32, 33, maximum 35, depending on the strength each year, each session, maximum 35. And do you feel all are the same? Of course not. All the human beings cannot be the same, isn't it? There has to be some differences, and that's what makes them unique. So today our first chapter will be on diversity. So the name of the chapter is Understanding Diversity. In spite of the different diverse characteristics, human beings somewhere or the other are the same. Now let's take the example of the situation in which we are in. We all are human beings. Human beings are the greatest creation of the Almighty, isn't it? They can create miracles. They have created miracles before. They have been to the moon, they have been to the Mars, they have sent satellites into the space, they have been doing excellent in NASA. So all around it's all about the human beings only. They are the most powerful creatures created by the Almighty. But in this situation, everyone, starting from a president of a country to the daily wages, all are facing the same crisis, isn't it? So in spite of being so diverse and in spite of having so many diverse cultural, economical, political background, we all have come to our knees, all have come to the same point, and all are facing the same crisis. Similarly, in spite of being so diverse, we human beings come together and join hands with others so that we can go on in our lives. That is what life is all about. Okay, so let's get into the chapter. It has to be because all of you are not having the same creative skills. All of you are not having the same level of understanding. Some can draw very well, some are moderate, some cannot draw even. But you all are having the same mind to share. Okay, now we will see, going to the next next page, that how we can make friends, or how is it of making friends who belong to who are different from us. Here in the book, the name Samir Ek and Samir Do, in this way it has been given. Now I forgot to tell you children, in civics, everything here from class 6, everything whatever you will read in civics has been given in the form of a story for you to understand well and for your better comprehensiveness. Okay, so whatever you will read has been given in the form of a storytelling method. Okay, so there are two subjects here. One is Samir Ek and Samir Do. One, as you can see, both of them are from the same age group, but some speak but the cultural background is not the same. One is Hindu, one is Muslim, and they are different. They have different cultural backgrounds also. While Samir Ek is more familiar with English, Samir Do speaks Hindi. Okay, although they both are more at home in different languages, they still communicated with each other. They made effort to do so because this was important to them. Samir Ek and Samir Do also come from different religious and cultural background. Samir Ek is Hindu and Samir Do is Muslim. Different religious and cultural backgrounds such as these are an aspect of diversity. So diverse means when people are different from each other under certain criteria or following certain criteria. Now, what does diversity add to our lives? Just like Samir Ek and Samir Do became friends, you might have friends who are very different from you. It's very natural, like either in school or your neighborhood or in your complex or the next door neighbor. They can be from different religious background also. You have probably eaten different kinds of food in their home. Maybe you went to celebrate their birthday, or you went to celebrate any anniversary or birth anniversary in some houses where you have eaten food which do not belong to your religion, or celebrated festivals with them, tried out clothes they wear and learned some of their languages as well. Or maybe probably you like reading and hearing stories and adventure about about different animals, people, and even ghosts. Perhaps you even enjoy making up stories yourself. Many people feel happy when they read a good story book because it gives them a lot of ideas and make up more stories. People who write stories get ideas from all the different sorts of different places. Okay, so people are diverse everywhere. We have diverse choice, diverse need, and diverse demands. Diversity in India. How do we explain diversity in India? A little more than 200 years ago, long before the train, aeroplane, bus, or a car became a part of our lives, people traveled from part to part, one part to the other, in ships, horses, and camels on foot. Often they went in search for new lands and places to settle in for people to trade with. And because it took so long time to travel, once they got to a place, people stayed there for a long period of time. Many others left their homes because they were because there were famines and droughts, and they could not get enough to eat. Some went in search of work, while others left because there was a war. In history of many places show that many people from cultural background helped to shape our lives and cultures there. Thus, regions became very diverse because of their unique history. So, in India, you think of India and Kolkata in large, if you think that it was the capital of the British India once. Okay, so when they made it the capital, they must have given it a good thought. A capital is a place, full of diversity. A capital is a place full of lot of people, a lot of activities, a lot of functions, a lot of organizations. So in India, in Kolkata, you will still find that the people who visited India before had left their legacy. We still find English breakfast in Kolkata, in some parts of Kolkata. Why? Because the people who used to stay were familiar with the notion, were familiar with this kind of a breakfast, isn't it? We find different types of clothes which the Britishers used to wear. Coat is not a Bengali. Coats are not in Bengali cultures. Then how come these came into vogue? Because of the British influence in India and particularly in Kolkata. So it is like that. Now you will be reading about two different places located into different geographical positions in the map of India, but how they are similar, we will see that. First, you will read about Ladakh. It is a desert in the mountains of the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. Please go through your maps and you will be able to have a clear vision of it. Very little agriculture is possible here, and as the place is very dry, it's a dry desert, and they receive very less rainfall and covered mostly in snow for a large part of a time, but it's beautiful. Okay, there are very few trees and that can grow here in this region because of the extreme climatic conditions, and for drinking water people actually depend on the melting snow during the summer months. Here the people, what about the occupation of the people? Here mostly people keep sheep, and the sheep in this region are special because they produce Pashmina wool. This is important to know. Pashmina wool is priced, and the Pashmina shawls are cost a lot of money. The people in Ladakh carefully collect the wool of the sheep and sell this to the trader from Kashmir. Pashmina shawls are chiefly woven in Kashmir. Okay, so Kashmiri people are very good with their needlework, and so with this wool they carve out beautiful shawls, okay, and stoles. The people eat meat and the milk produced like cheese and the milk products like cheese and butter, and the family owns some goats, cows and zoos. Being a desert did not mean that it did not attract its share of traders. It was considered a good trade route as it had many passes through which caravans travelled to what is today called the Tibet. So though it is located remotely and the climatic conditions are not very suitable or hospitable, still then people did not restrict themselves to visit Ladakh. Okay, they have traders. They also had traders as visitors, and they had left their rich legacy there. Okay, now what they used to do is they used to travel to what is called Tibet. These caravans carried textiles and spices, raw silk and carpets. Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. Ladakh is also called Little Tibet. Islam was introduced in this region for more than 400 years ago, and there is a significant Muslim population here. Ladakh is has a very rich oral culture and songs and poems. The versions of the Tibetan national epic, the Kesar Saga, are performed and sung by both Muslims and the Hindus. I would request you to search more about Kesar Saga, and if you could hear it out, it would be great. Okay. So, in spite of Ladakh being a cold desert and separated from the map of India, located remotely, still they had a rich culture. They had the visitors, travelers from across the globe, and also they had the influence of region and culture. Now comes to Kerala. It is in the state, we all know it is state in the southwest. It is a state in the southwest corner of India, surrounded by the sea on one side and hill on the other. A number of spices like pepper, clove and cardamoms are grown here. It is a spice that made this region an attractive space. So in southern India, spices are widely grown, and these spices are world famous. From the time of the Britishers, they were attracted for many of the things, and spices were one of the most important items of trade. Okay, so Indian spices are world famous. Okay, Jewish and Arab traders also were first to come here. The apostle of Christ, St. Thomas, is believed to have come here nearly 2000 years ago, and he is credited with bringing Christianity to India. So he is supposed to be the one who actually brought Christianity to India, St. Thomas. many Arab traders who came and settled down here. Ibn Battuta, who travelled here a little less than 700 years ago, wrote a travelogue in which he describes the lives of Muslims and says that there were a highly respected community. So Ibn Battuta, who came, actually he was a Moroccan traveller who came to India, and he wrote about his travel, and that is called a travelogue. Okay, and he describes about the Muslims and says that they were a respected community. The Portuguese discovered the sea route to India from Europe when Vasco da Gama landed with his ship here. So Vasco da Gama landed in Calicut. The spelling is Calicut, and which is in present day Kerala. It's 1498 AD. So Vasco da Gama first landed in Calicut, and also he was a Portuguese navigator. Because of all these various historical influences, people in Kerala practice different regions as Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, as well as Buddhism. The fishing nets used here look exactly like the Chinese fishing nets and called Chinawala. Even the utensils used for frying is called the Chinachatti, and it is believed that the word Chin would have come from China. The fertile land and the climate are suited for growing rice, and majority of people here eat rice, fish and vegetables. So, whenever a place will be located, will be having a coastal location or will be located near to the sea, they will have a tropical climate or moderate climate, and Kerala is no exception. So, their main food is fish and rice. While Kerala and Ladakh are quite different in terms of their geographical feature, the history of both regions has similar cultural influences. How? Both regions were influenced by the Chinese and the Arab traders. It was the geography of Kerala which allowed for the cultivation of spices, and the special geographical location of Ladakh and its wool drew traders of these regions. Thus, history and geography are often tied in the cultural life of a region. Okay, it is like we always say that geography gives the stage and the history enacts. Okay. Now, unity in diversity has always been recognized as a source of strength for the country India. When the British ruled, as like we all know, we came together and we hold hands with each other. So, in the time of need, when we come together and stand for one single cause, like we are standing now at this trying time, we can call it that we all are united in spite of our great diversity. So, as you have seen in the case of Ladakh and Kerala, in spite of having so diversely located and diversely, functional, they have certain criteria which are quite similar to the other. Now we will look into how we are all united in such diversity. You have previously you have read about why is India known as a land of unity and diversity. That we are going to see now, that we all are the different flowers in one that garland which makes up the whole country. India's diversity has always been recognized as a source of its strength. When the British ruled India, women and men from the different cultural, religious, regional backgrounds came together to oppose them. India's freedom movement had thousands of people of different backgrounds in it. They worked together to decide joint actions. They went to jail together, and they found different ways to oppose the British. Interestingly, the British thought they could divide Indians because they were so different and then continue to rule them. But the people showed that they could be different but yet be united in their battle against the British. So when it comes to any, be it a pandemic, be it a crisis situation, be it a famine, whatever the problems are, we all come together to fight it. Our freedom struggle against the Britishers is one of the greatest example of it. Okay, there is a song, you can just go through it. The song was sung after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, in which a British general opened fire on a large group of unarmed peaceful people, killing many and wounded even more. Men and women, Hindus and Sikhs, Muslim, rich and the poor had gathered to protest against the British. This song was composed and sung to honor the memory of those brave people. So Jallianwala Bagh massacre that took place in the year 1919 on 13th of April, which was a brutal action of revenge taken by the British on the Indians, and this song was sung as a memorial. Songs and symbols has emerged during the freedom struggle serve as a constant reminder of our country's rich tradition of respect for diversity. Do you know the story of the Indian flag? It was used as a symbol of protest against the British by people everywhere. In this book, the discovery of India, Jallianwala Bagh, in his book, The Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru says that Indian unity is not something imposed from the outside, but rather it was something deeper and within its fold. The widest tolerance of belief and custom was practiced, and every variety acknowledged and even encouraged. It was Nehru who coined the phrase unity in diversity to describe the country. So it was Jawaharlal Nehru who first felt that Indians, in spite of having so many diversities, are actually all equal and all the same, and when it's time for an action, they all come together because unity lies in their fold. Okay, so in saying so, we are just summarizing the chapter for you. I will be giving you a brief note about the chapter. You please go through it and try to understand it by each line. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.